Hello and welcome to This Week in East Brunswick, the township's own news and information program. Today we watch as 463 runners compete in East Brunswick's annual 10K run, held this past Sunday. We'll learn more about the race from this year's director, George Kelly. Cynthia Schechter, director of the township's Office on Aging, will talk about new programs at the Senior Citizen Center. Our regular features will include Paul Hansen's Money Tips, with the 9 important questions to ask your financial planner. Health Facts will feature family information from Joan DeVelder of Planned Parenthood, and daycare centers will be today's topic for Consumer Aware with Adrian Eisner. We'll end this week with our Township Council review, but first, here's a look at Channel 8's schedule for next week. Monday morning at 10, Lenore Kulik has low-impact aerobic exercises on Look Great, Feel Great. At 10:30, it's Paula Durant discussing the crop walk on this week's edition of Target. Monday night at 7, watch for a special repeat of the 1986 Township Council Candidates Forum. The candidates' profiles can also be seen this week. Tuesday night at 8:30, it's John Runyon and Jackson Agra. Thursday night at 8:30, Genevieve Hickey and Joseph Hudak, and Saturday afternoon at 1:30, Bill Kirk and Jerome O'Connor. Our regular programs for Tuesday include Check It Out from the libraries of Middlesex County at 7 p.m., Sports Talk with John Magliero at 7:30, and You and Your Money with Paul Hansen, this week discussing mutual funds. Wednesday, it's Stories from the Library at 3 p.m. and Spotlight on Education at 7:30 p.m., focusing on bilingual education in the schools. And we'll be back with our next edition of This Week in East Brunswick next Thursday at 7 and 8 p.m. The weather couldn't have been better at East Brunswick's 10-kilometer race this weekend. More than 500 athletes of all ages ran Sunday afternoon. They started in front of the Dunham's Corner Firehouse and raced more than 6 miles through some of the township's most scenic roads. Race director George Kelly says it takes dedicated volunteers and careful planning to ensure a successful event.
We have a lot of experienced people working on it, and we're putting on a pretty good program this time. First thing I want to make sure that I do is to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors are Raritan Valley Savings and Loan, Blackstone, L.J. Smith Farms, and Continental ITT Bakery. They've done a very nice job for us over the years, and we're kind of proud of what they've done. I have a race committee that is second to none. My wife heads up the race committee itself. She just helps me coordinate all the many details that have to be done here at race time, and I thank her for that. My wife is Phyllis Zatlin. She coordinates that with her job at Rutgers University, where she's head of the Spanish department. And the other people that we have on the race committee, a lot of them are very experienced, and they've done this year after year after year. And let me mention some of those, and I won't bother telling you what jobs they are, but they have done a really great job for us. Mike Sackler, Jay Horlick, Chuck Stein, Ray Byer, Ira Hirsch, John Reiser, who was last year's race director, and Tom Schuster. In addition, we have some new people this year who are really doing a great job for us also. These new people are Jerry Horn and John McInbury. And they've done a really nice job for us, and they're going to videotape it for us, and we're going to have a nice presentation there. In addition, since this is a race that is sponsored by both the East Brunswick Social Runners and the Township Department of Parks and Recreation, Tom Schuster, Lee Gerhardt, and Karen Burke all worked very hard to make this the success that it is. The runners, we divided all up into age groups so that we have trophies that are 5 trophies for each age group, and many of these age groups are as many as only 5-year age groups, where other races do it by 10-year age groups often. So we're quite pleased that we give a lot of trophies. We give out team trophies. We have 18 teams entered this year, which is a new record for us, and we're quite proud of that. So we're looking forward to a really good result. In addition, we have also computerized the results. So when the runners come across the finish line, they'll go get themselves a Twinkie, a Coke, and whatever they have to do, and then they can look up on the board there and find out where they finished, how they finished in their age group, and exactly all the information that they could possibly want. Once again, we've been blessed with great weather here, and this is another year of fantastic weather. We couldn't have scheduled it better than this.
Hello, I'm Cynthia Schachter, manager of the East Brunswick Office on Aging, and I'm welcoming you today to the outdoor recreation area which is adjacent to the East Brunswick Senior Citizen Center. This area was built and funded under a loan from Green Acres, and it will be repaid at a very low rate of interest by the Township of East Brunswick in the years to come. Behind me you see a bocce court and a shuffleboard court. Our seniors have been very interested in pursuing this form of recreation. It's good exercise and it's fun, and we've been planning this for a number of years. Not only will we be having programs including bocce and shuffleboard here, but we will also have tournaments and competition with other senior centers in the area. We also plan to use these picnic tables for outdoor barbecues and picnics, and just for generally enjoying the nice weather, as you see the gentlemen behind me who are playing cards today. The Senior Center is planning some special programs in the coming weeks. A week on Wednesday, October 29th, we offer a health fair for all senior citizens who are residents of the township. They will be have access to vision and hearing, blood tests, height and weight, colorectal screening, and many other aspects of health care. It's being coordinated by Alice Icona, who is our township nurse, and we ask that anyone who is interested call and register so that we can have an accurate idea of how many people will be here. On that day, we also plan to start a new program of registration for all the senior citizens of East Brunswick. We will be issuing plastic-coated registration cards with photographs on them, and the cards will contain all of the information that's contained in a driver's license. We find that many of our senior citizens who do not drive have great difficulty in cashing checks and being identified for other reasons, and we're hoping that these identification cards will be helpful to them. This is Cynthia Schachter. When you're in the neighborhood of the library, come by and see us and visit the Senior Center.
Now stay tuned for health facts following this public service announcement.
Do I look like a mother to you? Probably not. I'm Renee Esteves, and I've talked with a lot of teenagers. A lot of kids my age and younger are pregnant. I know that your own sexuality is a difficult thing to talk about, especially to your parents. But now is the time to open those doors of communications. October is National Family Sexuality Education Month. For more information, please contact Planned Parenthood.
Look in the white pages for a Planned Parenthood office near you.
This week, Health Facts features Joan DeVelder. She's Director of Community and Counseling Services for Planned Parenthood.
One evening, our children were in the family room playing. The TV was contributing its usual background noise to their activity. I was reading the newspaper and half listening to their activities. Everything was fairly calm when their laughter and giggles caught my attention. There they were, my 9-and-a-half-year-old and 7-year-old, laughing at a question asked by a game show host. The question was about making whoopee. Making whoopee, I thought, they don't really know what that means, or do they? The Making Whoopee event in our home turned into a conversation about sexuality, specifically the kinds of words that we use to express our thoughts about sex. I learned that our children believe that it is not okay to say the word sex on TV, but other words like making whoopee were just fine. Using TV shows, books, and family events to begin discussions about sexuality can help you explore the values and facts that your children are learning. Keep the discussion simple and casual. Answer your children's questions as honestly as you can. If you do not know the answer to a question, look for the answer with your child. Ask your children's opinion and be sure to listen to their response. Remember, disagreements can be healthy, but personal criticism can stop your children from coming to you with questions in the future. Planned Parenthood Federation of America has published a pamphlet to be used by parents. This is only a guide. We believe that the way you teach and interact with your child is special, and that each child is an individual, developing in a unique way. Still, this guide may help you to make your discussions about sexuality interesting, and positive. Many parents have questions about what their children should know. For example, should preschoolers learn the correct terms for all sexual body parts? Can 6 to 9-year-olds understand that all creatures reproduce themselves? Should 9 to 13-year-olds understand what contraception is and that having a baby is a long-term responsibility? And can teenagers understand the potentially dangerous consequences of casual sexual relations? Answers to these and other questions can be found in the pamphlet, What Children Should Know About Human Sexuality. For your free copy, send a stamped, self-addressed, legal-sized envelope to Planned Parenthood League of Middlesex County, 211 Livingston Avenue, New Brunswick, New Jersey, 08901. I'm Joan DeVelder, and this has been Health Facts.
I'm Paul Hansen with this week's Money Tip. People who lack the time or expertise to manage their income and assets are increasingly turning to financial planners. However you choose to pay for your financial advice, your expense is relatively modest compared with the potential long-term rewards and risks of following a planner's specific recommendations. Here are some of the questions that you might want to be asking your prospective financial planner. What will it cost me to carry out this advice? A competent planner should provide you with an accounting of any commissions he receives on products he recommends. These charges usually range from less than 1% to more than 10%. Second, how have you exercised due diligence on these products? Most planners, including those who work for institutions, rely entirely on the research provided by broker-dealers who supply products and conduct the required due diligence. Ask your planner to summarize when and how such research was done and why he's satisfied that it's accurate. Third, why do I need additional insurance coverage? You can expect your planner to estimate the current income your family would require should you die or become disabled, and tell you how the policies he recommends would provide for those needs. Fourth, is the portfolio you proposed appropriately diversified? A conscientious planner should balance your assets among different investments so that your total return will be reasonably stable despite market or interest rate fluctuations. Fifth, does this plan give me ample liquidity for emergencies? As a rule, you should be capable of raising cash equal to at least 3 months' net income in the event of unexpected expenses or temporary unemployment. Sixth, what sort of returns can I expect to achieve? Your planner should be able to project how much wealth you can hope to accumulate over the next 5 years or so. Ask about his assumptions for your real rate of return, which is adjusted for inflation. Most investors will do well if their returns consistently outpace inflation by 2 or 3% a year. Seventh, how will you help me realize my retirement goals? He should tell you whether he thinks you'll be able to save more or work longer to meet your retirement goals. He should suggest a schedule for gradually shifting your investment priorities in favor of capital preservation and increased income. Ninth, and finally, do you follow your own financial advice? If his answer is occasionally or usually, a planner should be willing to document his own ownership of products that he's recommending for you. The fact that an advisor has his money where his mouth is provides additional assurance that he has your best interest at heart. There's no one better able to manage your money than you. Make the wise choice. I'm Paul Hansen, host of You and Your Money, with this week's Money Tip.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Good child care means a loving caregiver, a proper setting, and the right activities. Today we'll be talking about how to select the appropriate child care for your youngster. Millions of children are being cared for by someone other than a parent, either because of a single parent situation or a two-job family. Child care comes in various forms. In-home care, where a relative, friend, or someone else you hire cares for your child in your home. Or child care centers, including nursery and preschools, before and after school care, and family daycare centers. The first step in selecting the appropriate child care for you and your child is to make a list of the child care services available in the area. Ask for information from social service organizations, local community groups, physicians, employers' personnel office, churches and synagogues, the Yellow Pages, and newspaper classified section. Then make some telephone calls to get more information. Here are some questions you should ask. What days and hours are you available? How much will it cost? Are you licensed and insured? What is your experience? Is transportation available? Are meals and snacks provided? Could you give me 2 references I could call? You should choose at least 3 caregivers that seem to fit your needs and make an appointment to visit with your child. When you are visiting the care center, here are some questions to ask. What does the fee include? How many children and caregivers are there? What is the training and experience of the caregivers? What is the daily routine? When can parents visit? You should be able to visit anytime. Be very cautious of places that have restrictions on visiting times. What are some of the programs and activities? What is the policy for sick children? How are children disciplined? And what emergency procedures are followed? You should also be checking to see the health and safety features. Toys and furniture should be suitable and in good shape. Electrical outlets should have safety caps, and heaters should be covered. There should be smoke detectors and first aid equipment available. Bathrooms and food areas should be separated and clean. The outdoor play area should be safe and fenced in. Cleaning supplies and medicines should be kept well out of children's reach. And each child should have a space to store his belongings. When you get down to making your decision, you will need to consider some important factors. How much you can afford to pay, what hours the care is available, where your child will be safest and healthiest, and who will give your child the best care. Trust your feelings. If you have any doubts, make a second visit or keep looking. If you need further information, please contact us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We're located in the Municipal Building. We're in the office Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The telephone number is 390-6954. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. See you again next time.
At Monday night's Township Agenda session, the Council discussed acquisition of property for a fire training facility. Mayor Fox gave a brief presentation and asked the Council to consider spending an estimated $500,000, which would cover the cost of the land and the laying of water pipes. Bill Stockton, Clerk for Fire Commissioner of District 2, spoke of the growing need for a township site.
As the community develops, we find that the locations for us to train become less and less. Shopping centers used to be our main area on a Sunday morning. Now we find shopping centers are open on Sundays. We cannot easily lay hose lines out, etc. Certainly we can't conduct any type of burning operation for training our personnel. We recently had a survey by the Insurance Services Office about 3 years ago, I think. One of the higher errors, the areas that they were critical of, was the lack of a readily accessible training facility. As the mayor alluded to, not having the paid on-duty staff, we also cannot be taking the entire company to Woodbridge to have a training session on Sunday. Besides the time being away from here for family purposes, obviously it also puts a little strain on fire protection. What we really believe we need is an area that between the 3 fire companies and, of course, would be available for rescue squad for their heavy training courses, is to have an area that the 3 fire companies, through the districts and an association we would establish, would on a regular basis be able to send 1 truck or all their vehicles, where they would be able to protect the community from responding right from there, but also have an area where we could easily practice driver trainings, do our hose evolutions. We hope to have a multi-story, and I don't mean 10 or 12, but maybe 3 or 4 story training building where we could fill it up with smoke. We don't have to worry about pollution. There's many ways. Natural gas is one way we do this. It's actually a burn building where we can realistically train our people to fight fires.
Director of Public Safety Thomas Tyrell explained the uses of such a facility, and Mayor Fox asked the council to consider land adjacent to Edgeboro landfill for the training site. The council agreed to have the proposed site surveyed and requested a report on alternative sites and the potential for cooperation by neighboring communities. Councilman Michael Baker and Township Planner Bill Tanner asked the council to consider an ordinance which would further restrict residential development adjacent to noise generators, such as the turnpike. This ordinance would have the distance between noise generator and residence measured to the lot boundary rather than to the house. Baker also suggested that an agricultural nature education center be established in cooperation with the Board of Education at Great Oak Park. The land, which is located north of Ruse Lane near Hammersholt, will be donated by developers Hovnanian and Bradgate. It consists of 5 acres of farmland and 11 wooded acres and includes a portion of Ireland's Brook. Township Planner Bill Tanner presented information regarding the proposed rezoning of an area north of Stratford Road and detailed progress on the plans for Fern Road's realignment. An action meeting will be held next Monday, October 27th at 8 p.m. in the municipal courtroom. That's all for this week. Tune in next Thursday for another edition of This Week in East Brunswick.